Hello friends, in last lecture we have studied the MOSFET, okay, and one point of a MOSFET is left, that is a safe operating area. Safe operating area of MOSFET means a characteristic or area on of characteristics in which MOSFET work safe. Okay, so let me draw a diagram or characteristics curve. Okay, so this is the diagram. Now on y-axis I have shown drain current, and on x-axis there is a drain to source voltage. Okay, this is for DC junction temperature. As we goes on increasing pulse width for pulse DC. Okay, so safe operating area will increase obviously. Okay, now here this boundary AD, this is A, this is D, this is E. This boundary AD is the maximum limit for DC and continuous current for this VDS, this much VDS. Okay, if your current, this is the current, continuous current. Okay, then this is the maximum current above which we should not move. Okay, otherwise temperature will increase and device may get damaged. Okay, okay, this is for less than 20 volt. Now for VDS, here it should be 20. Now for VDS more than 20, here it is sure 100, this is 20. So for VDS more than 20, the drain current has to be reduced. Okay, because power is to be maintained. So if we still further want to increase the drain to source voltage, then drain current should be reduced, and this will be the safe operating area. Okay, so that the junction temperature does not exceed the maximum rated value, which is a TJM, maximum junction temperature. Okay, and if the pulse operation is there, then as pulse width is goes on decreasing, safe operating area can be increased further. If your device is working for some time, okay, not continuously, then obviously its safe operating area can be increased. So this is the safe operating area for a MOSFET. Now let's start a new device, that is IGBT. Okay, its full form is insulated gate bipolar transistor. Insulated gate. Okay, one property, gate is insulated. Bipolar, another property, it is bipolar device, transistor. This is also type of a transistor. Okay, BJT, MOSFET. Third is IGBT. Okay, so it is insulated gate bipolar transistor. It is a combination of both BJT and MOSFET. Okay, so after BJT and MOSFET, IGBT got invented. Okay, and it combines the merits of these both devices. Okay, so it possesses high input impedance like MOSFET. Input impedance, it has high input impedance like MOSFET, and it has low on-state power loss. It has low on-state power loss like a BJT. Okay, so this is the main thing about the IGBT. Now construction wise, IGBT is almost similar to the MOSFET. We'll see its difference. Okay, so I am having a drawing of a MOSFET here. Okay, I will explain here only so that you can understand the difference. Now the only difference in a IGBT is, instead this N plus substrate, here we use P plus substrate. Are you getting? Instead this N plus substrate, we use a P plus substrate. Okay, one more thing is IGBT is also a three terminal device, but as in a MOSFET is having gate, source and drain, right? and IGBT has gate, emitter, instead source, gate, emitter, and instead drain, it is collector. Okay, gate, these two are emitter, and this down terminal is a collector. Remaining things is exactly similar. Only instead n plus there is a p plus substrate, and this p plus substrate is called as a injection layer. Why it is called injection layer? Because it injects hole in this n minus drift layer. Okay, it injects hole in a drift layer. Okay, this is the basic this thing. Now again, thickness of this n minus layer or drift layer, no, defines its voltage blocking capability. Okay, now how it works, then again its working is again somewhat similar to that of the MOSFET. Okay, the difference is I will tell you. Let me try to zoom. I hope it is clear to you. Okay. Now what happens on similar line when you give the gate, when this gate is made positive with respect to the emitter, okay, by voltage Vg, okay. Now at the same time when you made this gate positive, you should take care that your emitter to gate voltage, emitter to collector voltage. This is V emitter. This voltage should be greater than threshold voltage. It should be greater than threshold voltage. Means threshold voltage means the limit over which it get turned on. Okay, so there should be VGT above threshold, and when you make this gate positive, then here inversion layer start form. Okay, inversion layer means negative polarity. Just a second. Sorry. So when this gate made positive, here inversion layer start. Inversion layer means layer with negative these things. Okay, this is called as the inversion layer. This inversion layer this forms in upper part of this P region, just beneath the gate, just below the gate. Okay, same as in a MOSFET. Now this inversion layer, it short circuited this N plus layer and N minus layer. Right now, because in N plus layer there are high amount of electrons. In N minus layer there are slightly doped, but there are electrons. In P there are holes. But as inversion layer forms, automatically it short circuit these two regions, n plus and n minus regions. Okay, so when it short circuit the n minus region and n plus regions, now electrons from this n plus emitter, they start to begin to flow to this particular n minus layer. Okay, see it quite different, but try to understand. The electrons, as it short circuited, flow is opposite. Electrons from this n plus layer through this short circuit pass to this n minus layer. So here there lot of electrons get accumulated. Similarly from this side, so lots of electrons get accumulated at n plus layer, n minus this drift layer. At the same time, due to this polarity, this injection layer inject high amount of holes in it. Okay, so what happens, this n minus layer is flooded with the electrons from p body region and holes from p plus collector regions. Okay, it is flooded with these electrons and holes. So with this injection layers, density in n minus drift regions increases considerably. Are you getting? Okay, due to this excess amount of electrons and holes, okay, its carrier density increases. Okay, and as carrier density increases, obviously a current gets set up through like this, in this pattern, p plus n minus, like this current start flowing. Okay, so this is how IGBT works. So if you see carefully, its working is different from that of a MOSFET. Construction wise, it is almost similar to that of what I can say MOSFET. Now its characteristics. IGBT, IGBT characteristics. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget to tell you the symbol. Symbol of IGBT is like this. Okay, it is now this is BJT. Okay, but what is difference between BJT and IGBT? Okay, the difference is its gate is insulated, hence it is shown like this. Okay, gate is insulated, otherwise it is similar to BJT, hence it is shown like this. Okay, so this is the symbol of BJT. This is collector, this is emitter, and this is gate. Now for characteristics I will complete the circuit. For gate there is one resistance. This is gate voltage. This is VCC, VCE. Okay. Now its characteristics are again similar to the BJT, but now we will deal with the gate emitter voltage. So if it is zero, there will be some leakage current. Okay, this is the current, collector current, and this is voltage, collector to emitter voltage. So as you goes on increasing gate emitter voltage means gate signal, as it goes on gate current, gate goes on increasing gate current. Okay, the collector current increases. Okay, this is zero gate current or less gate current. This is breakdown point. I can say this is VG1, VGE1, this is VG2, this is VGE3, this is VG4, this is VG5. Okay, VG5 is greater than VG4, is greater than VG3, is greater than VG2, and is greater than VG1. Okay, so in fourth quadrant its characteristics is like this, reverse. Okay, so this is the IGBT characteristics. It is exactly similar like BJT. Now one important point, that is its switching characteristics. So let's understand switching characteristics of IGBT. Okay, like MOSFET, the switching characteristics of IGBT also divided into several parts. This is gate voltage. IGBT is also voltage control. This is gate voltage. So till this is a leakage voltage. This is at this particular point. This is threshold voltage. Okay, at which actual device started. VGE gate to emitter threshold T. Okay. Here same. This is threshold voltage. I will tell you what it is, which I have just drawn. Okay, so its term of on time, T on time, is distributed in two different time, that is delay time and rise time, TDN and TR. So what is TDN and TR? I'm going to draw two characteristics on this plane. Okay, one is for a collector current, another for collector to emitter voltage. So initially there is some leakage current, and that is called as a ICE, collector to emitter leakage current. Okay, so when it is not conducting, it is having some leakage current, and it is having full voltage applied at the collector emitter. Okay, so delay time is a time in which your collector to emitter current rises from 0 to 10% of its actual value, means 0 point, I can say 0.1 of IC. Or else I can say that it is a TDN. Delay period is a period in which collector to emitter voltage decreases from its full value to, this is zero point 0.9, means 90% of its actual value. Okay, then comes rise time. Okay, rise time is a time in which collector current rises from 10% to its full value. Okay, or else I can say rise time is a time in which collector to emitter voltage decreases from 90% to 10%. Okay, so now this is a full current flowing like this is a leakage voltage like this. Are you getting? This is for current, this is for voltage. Okay, now you want to off the device. Okay, so you will remove this particular gate voltage. When you remove that gate voltage, again the off time T off is divided into three different time. One is a delay in fault time plus fault time 1 plus fault time 2. Are you getting? So first is delays fault time, means when your this thing, your gate to emitter voltage reduces from high value to threshold, and your current, collector current, decreases from full value to 90%, zero point 0.9 of its IC, is called as a your delay time, delay in fault time. Or else I can say, no, leakage voltage will remain as it is. Okay, so this is the thing, when your current reduces from full value to 90% of its value. Okay, second is the fault time 1, TF1. Now TF1 is a time in which voltage start increases. So voltage increases to its 10%. Voltage increases to its 10%. Okay, and current decreases from 90% to 0.2, means 20% of its value. Okay, and second is a fault time 2. In fault time 2, your voltage increases from 10% to its higher value with some peak like this, and your current reaches from 20% to value of leakage current, that is 0.1. Okay, so this is how switching characteristics works. The switching characteristics is very much important, so I explained in detail. Now what are the applications of IGBT? IGBT is generally used in medium power applications. So which are medium power applications? DC and AC motor drives, DC and AC motor drives, then in UPS system, then power supplies. Okay, drives for solenoid, relays, contactors, these are some applications of IGBT. Okay, comparison will see later, comparison of IGBT, MOSFET and BJT. And now important point of IGBT is a safe operating area. Now you people can easily understand the safe operating area diagram. I will draw it. This is IC, this is VC. Okay, now it's this diagram or safe operating area is different for two different things. One is a forward bias safe operating area like BJT. This is reverse bias safe operating area. Okay, so here this is the actual characteristics for pulsed operation. This is the characteristics, means junction temperature, maximum junction temperature is 150 degrees Celsius in a IGBT. Okay, so for that your collector current should be with for continuous operation should be maximum till this. Okay, if you want to increase VC, then your collector current should be decreased like this, and this is your safe operating area. For continuous, for pulsated DC, if you decrease the pulse width, obviously safe operating area will increase. If you further decreases, further it will increase. Okay, similarly reverse bias, this is IC, this is VC. Okay, so if the reapplied voltage, rate of change of your collector to emitter voltage increases, then your safe operating area get reduced. Okay, so you will reduce the collector to emitter voltage, right? So it depends on the rate at which you are reducing. Okay, so if you're reducing by at 3 kilovolt per microsecond, then this is a safe operating area. If it is reducing with less rate, 2 kilovolt per microsecond, then safe operating area will increase. If you reduce by 1 kilovolt per microsecond, then it will be safe operating area again increase. So it depends on the dVCE upon dt, rate of change of collector to emitter voltage. Okay, so this is how we have completed IGBT. Thank you very much.